So in this video today, we've asked all of the OnlyFans agency owners in our community to ask us their burning questions, and we're going to sit you for however long it takes and get through every single question and answer them. There's going to be questions for those that are just starting out and those that are making 100K a month, 200K a month and beyond. If you're in OnlyFans management agency, if you're interested in starting the business model, doesn't matter where you're at and wherever you're trying to go, we're going to try and help you today as much as we can in this video. I've got Steven here, who also runs a super successful OnlyFans management agency doing over 500 grand a month. May already know me. Obviously, I'm Dylan. I also run an OnlyFans agency making over $1 million a month. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video. Let's see what questions you guys got for us. And let's run it.
How did you guys get into OnlyFans?
Dylan got me into OnlyFans. He solicited me and convinced me I should start. Nah, I actually thought it was true. Like, so I used to work a 9-5, had a very corporate job. I was doing that for like 10 years, and I was in a position where I had pretty much reached the peak of where I was at, and I was like, I wasn't really going to go any further. I'd been given that information as well. It was quite disheartening, to be honest, and I'd built up this very specific skill set. So like, I was a continuous improvement engineer and a data scientist, and I had this skill set and I could use it for consulting, and that was going to be great, but I realised I wasn't going to go anywhere. I was always going to be stuck. So and it's difficult. Consulting's a really difficult business as well. You're fighting for contracts constantly and you're not really in control. So I started chatting to Dylan, and I actually approached Dylan to try and sell him something. Interestingly, and he counter sold me, which was amazing. I tried to approach him to talk about me selling him data analytics, which was something fresh to you at the time, and it was like you were just sort of getting into that space for your own agency, and he was like, right, I've got a counter proposal where, right, you could do this, why don't you join those two things together? And then he watched me do that to see if it was going to work, and then he was like, oh, it does work, and then we worked together to sort of take it forward. That's how I got into the industry, basically. I tried to sell a salesman and lost.
Yeah, I think different story for me. Like, I tried making money online for such a long time. I tried dropshipping, I tried Amazon FBA, I tried like everything. I was doing 18-hour days. Nothing was working for me for like 2-3 years. And so I was like, let me just stop trying like these hard business models and go where like the easy money is, because it's like, why would you make it difficult on yourself? So let me just go where the easy money is. And in my opinion, it's the easiest way to make money online is OnlyFans management. So I just got started because I seen the opportunity and I was like, okay, these girls obviously make a ton of money. I could help them make more money. And that was pretty much how I got into it.
How did you guys sign your first models?
The first model I signed was actually someone that I knew. I knew this girl that was like an influencer. Like, she blew up on TikTok at the very start of like 2019, and she had a friend that started OnlyFans. I was already like dabbling in sort of like content and marketing, so I had some skills. I knew how to make viral pieces of content and stuff like that. And so then I worked with her friend, blew her friend up to 200 grand a month, and the rest is history, and they just went from there. So I'd actually build in real systems, getting outbound systems going, inbound systems through content, paid ads, build a really good recruiting funnel, a really good referral system, and yeah, that was pretty much it. What about you?
Mine was, there's two first models for me. Like, I had a first model before where I was sort of looking at the business model and trying to figure out what was going on, and then I had my real first model that I recruited. So my friend knew someone that was in the game, and I dabbled a little bit with her when I first started speaking to you. I was like, right, what are we going to do? How are we going to work? Blah, 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 blah. And I took her account on, and we done, a few $100 together. And then she sort of like, she had a boyfriend at the time. He wasn't happy about it. He didn't want to work with another dude and stuff, and we dropped that off. So like, I was like back to the start at the start. And I remember we spoke about this.
Yeah.
Because like, I didn't have a personal brand, and at the time I was still sort of working government contracts, so I couldn't like just blow my own personal brand up and start recruiting models. I didn't have that sort of IG presence where I could be like, oh, come on, let's do work together. So like, I had to sort of go about it. So what I did was, I started working with my sister very quickly and started working with her. She started doing a bit of outreach and speaking to girls that, that she thought would be a good fit for us. And we took on like an up and coming TikTok personality initially, very solid. Started working with a few people in that space. And actually we just started marketing straight through TikTok, started picking up people that were on TikTok, blew a lot of people up on TikTok effectively at the very start, and that was it really. Yeah, just cold outreach, believe it or not. Cold outreach before we talk cold outreach.
Yeah.
Very organic.
I think cold outreach is still super underrated, just because like everyone thinks it's like saturated, because they're like, oh, it's not. Like, people don't understand. I don't think people fathom like how big the market actually is.
So,
and that like they're not outreaching every single creator possible.
Nah,
like it's
so a bombshell, right? Bombshell for the community. The community possibly don't, or our internal community, we get asked questions like this all the time. Oh, what are you doing outreach wise? Blah 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 blah. And we teach multiple ways to do outreach, and I don't actually do any of them. I just do cold outreach. I don't run ads. I don't really do inbound. Like, I just do cold outreach and have a referral system as well. But like, most of my clientele come from pure cold outreach.
Yeah.
Like it is so underrated because I'm using only that to get
Mm-hmm.
my clients in the door.
Yeah.
And I've got no shortage of them.
Yeah.
But I think the big issue is, right, is that people think cold outreach is underrated because they don't know how to have an actual
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
with people.
And they also don't understand the process. And they also
No.
don't understand that it takes a lot of follow-up and stuff like that.
Yeah, they just go straight in and try and strike for the kill instantly. And I think like one of the problems is, and I feed this back to a lot of people, right, is, and it's difficult for them to do. You have to like not be creepy. Just don't be weird, right? It's not hard to not be weird. Just have a normal human conversation with people, and you'll be fine. If you go into the DMs and start acting like an absolute creeper, like so you're messaging a girl. Let's think about this, right? If you're messaging a girl and you want to execute a business relationship with that female, right? Don't tell her how beautiful she is in the first exchange. That's super weird. And if you think about the DMs that these girls get all the time, like there's dudes in their DMs telling them this anyway. You got to be professional. You got to be clinical. You got to be fast. It's got to be concise. Don't waste their time because then you're not wasting your own time. Don't send them, a book. They're not going to read it. And don't send them anything creepy. That's really my best advice on it.
People don't understand positioning. People don't understand a lot of different things when it comes to like the psychology of outreach, and it's very interesting because I think like even the whole like influencer play, like you said, right? Girls don't want fucking DMs from creepy guys. Like they already got enough of them. So that's why also it's like super leveraged to partner with influencers to reach out for you to make that introduction is also a good route. But I think the reason people fail with outreach is firstly they don't understand like the positioning of how to position their message rather than coming across like every other OF agency. Like they have no idea how to stand out. But not just that, like I think the biggest thing is because it's so boring and it's like hard work. Like if you want to see success with outreach at the start when you got no models, it's like you're doing 6 hours a day every day for 3 months straight before you find one good client.
Well,
like, that's the long-term worst case scenario. You could literally do it in a week, in a day. Like people are not willing to like go through that, and that's why they never get the skills. Like they don't learn.
It's like I was saying the other day. I was having a conversation with a couple of the students, right, and some guys, and they were really pressed and like, listen, I can't get clients. I've been trying. And see, when I really drilled in, right, I was like, you say you're trying, but let's analyze what that trying actually is. When I drilled in, they weren't. I'll be honest, weren't trying, and I'm not trying to be cruel to people, but like you say you're trying, but your definition of trying and actually trying are two different things. Like the ultimate end of the conversation was this: we went through all of the things, we looked at all the data, and we figured out, right, you're actually not trying hard enough. The difference between closing and not closing is the decision to close. It's the decision to set. It's the decision to have the conversation. If I decide that I am going to do the thing that I want to do, then it gets done, and it doesn't matter how long it takes or what the effort outcome is to get there. If I decide I'm going to close someone, I just do it until I've closed. And it takes hundreds, thousands of opportunities to actually close potentially, but the difference is that I just keep going and the job is done. And I think the problem is that people quit because they're like, oh, I've done 30 outreaches and it's not working. I must send 300 outreaches a day minimum, and the strike rate's not mad. It's we're not getting 300 replies. We maybe get 30 initial conversations, and that then creates 3 leads. And across the whole like economics of it, that's a lot of messages a month. 3,000 messages every 10 days, 9,000 messages a month on average that result in 3 leads a day. And we don't close every lead as well. You got to think about that as well. So it's an economics game, and that's the problem that people don't take on board. It's a huge numbers game, and you got to be willing to actually put in that volume of effort to create the volume of outcome. It's pure economics.
How do you know if a client is going to be an ideal client or not hardworking? Like, how do you determine whether to work with someone or not? What are the red flags, green flags?
I think when it comes to like figuring out the clients you want to work with, I think you need like before I go into this question, I just want to preface that I think a lot of like especially beginners, they make the mistake of thinking because they're new, they want to work with new creators. It's because they think that like they don't want to fuck up, and the new creator also doesn't know like how good of a service delivery they're doing because they new and they want to figure it out and use it as a task. But I think it's like the stupidest idea ever, because like working with a new creator when you're new is like infinitely more difficult because it's like you don't know what you're doing, she doesn't know what she's doing. So it's like 2 fucking headless chickens just like running around trying to figure out what to do. But not only that, like it takes way more skill, knowledge, experience, resources, and time to take someone from brand new to 100k a month, 50k a month, or wherever the goal is. So it's like new creators would be better off with more established agencies. Like for example, for me, I could just plug them into my ecosystem, shout out, blow them up. It's easy. If you're new, the last thing you want to be doing is working with like new creators. Like you want to be looking for creators that already got some level of momentum. Like maybe they got 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, followers. Maybe they're making $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month. They've already got the content. So like this, they've already got like the infrastructure there. You just need to tweak it and apply and have confidence you can actually deliver.
For creators like that, I've always found, right, see if you find like a creator that's maybe making like 2,000 to 3,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
The difference between, so it's hard, like creators that are making like $500 a month, they're doing it, it's a few subs, it's maybe a sale every other day or whatever, right, that they're doing. But creators making like $3,000, for example, they're then averaging $100 a day, which means they're doing something. And if you, even if you're a new agency, right, and you don't have any staff, you don't have a chat team, you don't have a resource team for content, you don't have all of these things, if you apply more time leverage to that account than the creator does, you will make that much leverage on the money. So if you do twice as many hours chatting as the creator does, you'll make twice as much money. If you do 3x, then my general rule of thumb is if we put a 24-hour chat service onto a client and they're doing 2 hours of effort per day, we'll do 12 times as much money, theoretically.
Yeah, minimum, because like they're probably also going to be less skilled, so it's actually exponential. Like it could be even more.
Yeah, so, and that's how we do. So if I say to someone, oh, I'm going to bring you on, we can do a 10x service, and we can do that 10x service in the first like 30 to 45 days. Generally speaking, it's true, but it's only based on how much leverage they apply. So if you come to me and say you work a 12-hour chat day, I'm going to be able to generally say I can probably 2-3x you max very fast. But it's, so like that's the thing that new agencies should think about as well, is like how much leverage can you apply to the business as fast as possible? And what does that then mean based on what they're doing now? Is take it objectively. It's not, don't just guess. Take actual data and be like, right, they're doing this and I can do this. And if I do this at a higher level, then theoretically I'm going to make this much. I think one of the other things as new agencies do is they overcompensate. So they call us, right? And this happens all the time. And I refuse to do this. I've never agreed with it, where clients are like, they come to me and they're like, oh, could you give me some results? And I'm like, absolutely not. Why am I not going to give you results? Well, for two reasons. Results don't reflect a creator's ability to deliver, right? So when a creator's coming and they're like, oh, how do we know they're going to do well? If I'm trying to acquire a creator and like I use somebody else's results to like flex it doesn't, because it's not relevant to that creator.
You have to look at each creator as they completely different businesses.
Separate
like there's
businesses.
So many variables. Like if you take one creator to 40k a month, it doesn't mean that now you're going to take every creator to 40k a month. There's so many variables.
And the other reason is I don't want anybody to be duped effectively, because if you didn't generate 100k's worth of results on a model, you can't flex that to be like, don't tell models, oh, I've done 100k's worth of business on this girl, because you haven't. And that's going to show painfully. We've diverted for the question. The question was red flags, right?
To loop back. I was just going to say, to loop back to those questions, I think the biggest red flags are if they're not all in. Like I would never work with a creator that's not all in. Like she's if and an R of whether OnlyFans is the thing for her. Instantly, no. Like you have to make that decision, because it's a big decision to make. So like you can't be half and half. If you're asking questions on the call like, oh, I don't want to be seen with my family and friends, like can we block certain country, these types of things is like an instant red flag for me, that they're not going to be the type of creator that I want to work with to actually create, to go viral, to blow up, because they're going to be nervous on camera. They don't want to put themselves out there. Like you've got to be all in, and I think that's the biggest thing. And then secondly, like they need an actual why. Like the biggest thing for me, like they actually need a why as to why they want to make money. Like all our best creators have a genuine why, which motivates them to want to make money, not just like some random bullshit like I want to get a Lamborghini or wherever. And I think that's really important. But then other than that, like if they're taking long to reply, turn around content, I'm going to do it tomorrow and it doesn't get done. I'm going to do it tomorrow and it doesn't get done. Like things like that for me are like the biggest red flags. Also, even on like the call, like on the sales call, like if I'm signing a creator that's like, and this happens so many times, like when I'm speaking to creators making like 20-30 grand a month and they've kind of just got there kind of easily, like maybe they're by themselves. When I'm like going through the sales process, when they don't ask me a lot of questions about like, okay, what I'm going to do, like if they're not trying to dig into like how I can actually help them, it's almost a red flag, because it's like, it shows they don't necessarily care about like their business, if that makes sense. So it's like, I kind of like them to ask questions. Like if I'm like stopping, I'm like, do you have any questions about this thing? And they're just like, nah. And then they just sign. It's like, okay.
Because you're handing over a partnership stake in your business to another human being, right? And I'm not asking you any questions about it. Like, like how much money am I going to pay you for this service? And what does that mean for me? You're not asking any questions about what the strategy is, the methodology. It's like crazy sometimes.
What is the best way to have good chatters? Is it best to find good chatters or make good chatters?
I get asked this question probably multiple times on a daily basis, and it's exhausting to answer because I give the same answer all the time, right? You cannot, as a human being, just be good at stuff from the day that you do it, right? A lot of guys in the industry, right? They've never managed other people before. They've never managed or developed people in a business. They've never managed and developed human beings at any capacity, right? What you need to understand is that as a people manager, development frameworks are your actual thing. You're supposed to be a development person. You're supposed to develop human human beings into roles to make them functionally effective for you. So you want to make sure that the baseline stuff is there, right? You want to make sure that when you're hiring, and this isn't just Charles, this is everything. You want to hire someone for any job, they shouldn't be able to do 100% of the job right there and then, because that's an unreasonable ask. They don't know your systems, they don't know your processes. What they should have is a reasonable understanding of the foundational elements of that job. So for charters, for example, they have to be able to speak English properly, and they have to be able to speak contextual English, not just like they can pass an Oxford English test, because you can study for any test and pass it via memory, right? What you need to be able to do is understand context. When you're training salespeople of any variety, charters, whatever, they have to be able to have a contextual, normal conversation and understand that context. That's number one. Then they have to understand that it's a sales environment. They're not there to have, you know, like a fun conversation all the time. They're there to understand that it's a sales environment, and they're there to actually have a conversation that results in some sort of monetary outcome at the end. That's really the only two things that I'm looking for. Everything after that we train for. And I have a very robust, well-developed setup for bringing people in. They get buddied with other people that work in the business. They've got someone to work with. They've got regular training sessions. We update our training material constantly. I'm personally involved in that training, even still to this day, because I actually enjoy it, to be honest. It's a big thing that I enjoy. I've always sort of enjoyed that people development stuff. And by having that mentality, when I know they're not going to perform at 100% in the door, is the first thing. So if you're hiring people into your business, don't expect them to perform at 100%. They're never going to perform at 100% of you, first of all. They're going to perform at 80 to 60% of you at best. And then imagine what 80% of you is doing, because even you can't be 100%. So take 80% of 80%, and that's what you should expect. And from there, build them up. 60, 70, 80, 90% health employee. But that takes time. It takes months. And you have to be willing to understand that they're people. They make mistakes. They're tired. They've got stuff going on. And yeah, you're a business. You're trying to make money. But you also have to understand how people actually work in order to hire good charters. For me, I don't care where they've come from as long as I can break their habits in the past as well. So everybody's like, oh, is it better to get brand new charters or to get charters that have worked in agencies before? That's irrelevant. I'm looking for people that can be shaped, basically. I'm looking for people that can be shaped into the instrument that I need them to be in my business. And realistically, that's it. Like, so I suppose if I summarise that super fast, sorry, Dylan, I've well taken the reins on this aggressively, but bring anybody in that looks like they fit the bill, test them, and then train them to the standard they need to be. And if they can stay on the horse whilst it bucks, keep them there. Help them stay on. And if they fall off, give them another chance potentially, depending on how bad they fall. And if they just can't stay on the horse, then they have to leave. That's just how it works. But you want to be giving people that chance. You need to give people chance to develop. And if you don't, you're just a bad manager, basically. You're never going to go anywhere if you don't learn how to manage people and develop people properly. Sorry, that was a rant.
Yeah, I think that's the same with anyone. I think like everyone looks for unicorns, and sometimes like it's difficult to find unicorns, and so sometimes like you might be better off hiring, like, if let's just say you are the unicorn, it's your business, and you do it, you know, you do a really good job. The reality is you might need to hire like 2 to 3 people to replace you, rather than just looking for one person. So it's the same concept.
What types of content strategies have proven most effective for subscriber growth and engagement?
I think when it comes to content, the biggest thing is like actually the personality of the creator. Like, rather than making them look like every other OnlyFans creator and just doing like soulless content and dance trends and stuff like that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Like, in terms of conversion, like actually creating influencers, I think has been the biggest key to our success. And that being said, like the simplest way I look at content is like all you need is 100 winning pieces of content. Like, once you've found 100 winning pieces of content, so, you know, outliers, let's just say you've posted 1,000 videos on Instagram, for example. Once 100 of those videos of you've got like 100 viral videos, like 2 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views, wherever it is, you never need to create new content ever again if you don't want to. Now, it's always good to test new stuff, test new ideas and so on. Once you've got 100 higher performers, you just keep recreating and iterating and reposting and re-editing those videos over and over and over again, and you just do as much volume as possible. Posting 6 times a day, posting 12 times a day, like it really doesn't matter. Like, there's no limit to how much you can post. I mean, there's accounts on IG that post 100 times a day and get 9.2 billion views a month. Like, there's no limit. And so like once you've got 100 winning pieces of content, that's like the key. Because if a video's gone viral, let's just say it's got 2 million views or 10 million views, if 10 million people have resonated with that one piece of content, it's very likely that there's going to be at least another 10 million people that would also resonate with that content. It's just Instagram didn't serve that piece of content to that pocket of audience. And so by re-uploading it or slightly tweaking it or iterating it or recreating it or wherever you want to do and re-uploading it, it's likely you might hit another pocket of audience that maybe you get 2 million or maybe you get 20 million, or maybe you get 10 million again, right? And so like that's the biggest key. Like if you have winning pieces of content, you need to like milk that as much as possible. And when you do have winning pieces of content and you're getting views and all the other pieces of content around is getting affected because the one is getting so many views, you need to capitalize on it, keep posting it, keep posting it, keep posting it. And I would say like that's the proven the most effective for us. And again, building it around the actual person, around the brand, because if you just brand your creators as another OnlyFans girl, she now has competition, right? She has to compete with every single other OnlyFans girl, and she might be the shiny object for a bit, but eventually someone new and shiny is going to come along and they're going to overtake the crown and everyone's going to forget about her. Whereas if you like build it around her personality, she's now in a market of one, right? Like no one can compete with that girl on being herself. Like no one can compete with Dylan Bees on being Dylan Bees, right? Because there's no other Dylan Bees. And so it's like I can create a market of one by creating content around my personality, right? Because people fall in love with me, and it's the same with creators. So that's like the biggest thing I would say when it comes to content.
I think as well, there's a tiny piece to be said about technicality of delivery as well. Like I'm very focused on the technical delivery elements of content. So like it's everything you've said there, I'm 100% on board with it, and I execute very similarly. But I also pay a really close attention to, I think a lot of guys in the industry that are working, they forget about the technical elements. It's easy for you because a videographer films all the content, right? But a lot of these guys, the models filming the content, or like they don't have editors, right? So one of the things that I would say, if you're new in the industry especially, right, because I actually had to learn this skill myself, and I do it now, and it's a big part of my business now, is I shoot content for models, and I shoot my own clients, and I design their content from a technical and creative perspective, and I am very focused on stuff like proper videography skills, proper framing, proper lighting, using the right equipment as well. Don't film with the front camera on an iPhone, right? We'll pick an iPhone 14 because I know the numbers for this one. iPhone 14 Pro, front camera's a 12 megapixel camera, the back camera's a 48 megapixel camera with a CMOS sensor. The quality is therefore 1/4 on the front than it is on the back. But people are filming on the front because they want to see what they're doing and stuff like that. You need to film properly and actually use the equipment, because the platforms know that they want the good quality, and they're going to not give you good results if you use bad quality and produce bad quality. They don't like care. I was talking to a videographer that I know when I was training, right, and I was learning the skills, and the guy told me people will accept bad video, but they won't accept bad sound. The problem is the platforms won't accept bad video, so you have to get both right. You have to give good sound quality if you're actually talking and whatever, and talking for me is one of the best ways to get the model's personality out, by the way. I love talking content where the model is actually giving a piece of herself to the audience and doing that, because for me that's the fastest route to success, to get the personality out there. But you have to then make sure that video is technically executed well. Make sure that they're using a mic if they're going to talk. Don't film the thing in a bathroom where it's echoey. Like it's common sense stuff, and I think as an agent it is your responsibility to learn these skills and teach them to the creators that you work with, because if you're not teaching them how to do the thing that they ultimately need to do for you in order to succeed as a business, you're not really a very good partner. That's the only other part of the coin for me. Like if you don't have the resources to get videographers and professionals to shoot for you, learn the skills, pass those on to your creators. It's a collective bargain. You're working with them. You have to help them to succeed where they are not.
And the easiest implementation for everyone watching this video is just set and lighting. Like if you have a good set and lighting, that's like the easiest implementation you can fix. It will instantly make a massive difference to how the videos perform.
Learn lighting before anything else. Very important.
How do you guys keep your subscribers engaged? What are some strategies you guys apply?
For me, there's a variety of ways to do this, right? We look at the marketplace generally, and I subscribe to like a lot of OF creators, right? Not a simp. No, I seen it coming. Actually seen it coming from you, animal. But like I subscribe to a lot of other creators that aren't in my business sphere, right? Like I probably subscribe to some of you're getting money from me. Oh my god. Right? But like I subscribe to other creators to see what other people are doing in the market, right? And I want to understand like how they're engaging with me. So what are their chat teams doing? What are their outgoing strategies on platform? What are they doing on socials as well? Because it's not all about where they're subscribed. Sometimes it's about creating a whole ecosystem, right? So I'm very focused on the mouth of the funnel and then the end of the funnel as well. What happens in the socials? How does that transfer into the actual sales environment, the monetized position of OF? What are we doing in there? And then doing fun stuff. Don't just spam people with mass PPVs on the it's trash, right?
The easiest way is just reverse engineer people. Like go and look at what the best creators are doing and just reverse engineer. It's super like simple. Don't even overcomplicate it. There's no like specific tactics. There's no one way to do anything. Just literally look at what the best creators are doing. Take things you like from all of them, reverse engineer that, and you get to go.
Just don't spam mass PPVs. That's really the simplicity of it. Play games with them. Have actual conversations with them. Don't be in the chat environment and just be like, oh, hi, how are you? And then the guy's like, oh, I'm great. How are you today? And then the chatter responds, yeah, I'm great. Here's a picture of my boobs for $5. Don't do that, right? Have an actual conversation with your subscribers and you'll retain them. If you look at how any business operates where they're doing customer service, which is what it's sales and service, right? The actual chat environment is a sales and service setup where you're actually having to have a conversation to retain your customer. Have an actual conversation with them. Actually talk to them like a normal person. Don't just like spam them with material all the time. Because that's how I block numbers. It's how I unsubscribe from email. I don't respond to marketing where I'm permanently being solicited. Sometimes when I call my bank, sometimes I just chat to the person for a couple of minutes whilst they're doing the work. They have a better time. I have a better time. And it means I want to stick around as well. So like, yeah, just realistically, if you want to keep your subscribers engaged, make sure there's plenty for them to engage with. Make sure there's plenty of content on socials, plenty of content on the sales environment.
What are 3 key elements in building my personal brand?
Being authentic, understanding psychology, and understanding how to actually film and shoot videos and the technical setup that we talked about, like the lighting and stuff like that. Those are the 3 biggest things.
How do I know if I'm just not cut out for this industry? Like, how long do I try signing a model? Or I just give up?
If you give up, then that's how you know you're not cut out for the industry. That's it. I've never given up. I just don't give up.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to succeed because I refuse to quit. If you think about quitting and then actually do it at any given time, you're gone.
Buying outfits, lip drops, photo shoots, is that the model's expense or the agency's expense?
I think it depends on the stage you're at, and I also think it depends on the size of the model's account. But it's completely up to you. Like, if you want to offer that as a service, great. But I personally wouldn't offer as a service unless you're actually making money from that creator. Like, you don't want to go.
Yeah.
It's a bad business to be in the red from the start. Like, you sign a model and just start buying everything before you made any money.
Yeah.
So it's like at the start, get her to buy the outfits, and once they make money, you can do it if you want.
Like, I've got a counter answer to that. I've invested in a facility. I've got a 6,000 square foot production facility, and we invested a lot of money in that facility. It's a project that's happening right now. We're building it out. I've invested a lot of money to produce content for the models, and they're invited to actually attend and produce all the. I'll shoot it for them. I'll help them. There's equipment, there's lighting, there's outfits, there's everything. There's sets. So like, yeah, I do that, but that's an investment I've decided to make. It's a gamble that I've taken. I'm fairly confident it's going to pay off.
What is the biggest mistake new creators make?
New creators think, right, that they can choose their brand. The audience chooses what you become ultimately, no matter what you do, and you have to decide whether or not you're willing to flow with that.
Have you ever ignored a subscriber's message on purpose?
Yeah, 100% all the time.
Yep, definitely.
Do you have a secret second account on social media?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
Like, do you have a secret other IG that you stalk me on? Yeah, do you have a secret IG with a fake name? You do. You're stalking me.
A burner account.
A burner account, bro.
Have you ever regretted posting something? If so, what?
No. My life's not long enough to regret.
Yeah, nah.
Have you ever had a fan recognize you in public?
Yeah, I have.
I have too,
Couple times,
yeah.
actually, which is fucked. That's actually crazy.
Mostly because of the car. People have come up to me in the city because of my car and like, oh, bro, you're that guy. It's like, oh no.
What is the best platform for promotion?
Instagram.
Yep, definitely.
Have you ever lied about your earnings to anyone?
Yeah, when I was starting out, I used to lie to models that I made way more money than I did.
Should other agency owners lie as they start?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I front this all the time. Do not do it. It's stupid.
Would you ever date a model or that?
A relevant question. I'm married.
I'm married as well.
To me.
I'm wiped up now.
Have you ever blocked a subscriber for being too weird?
Yes.
Yes, as part of a strategy to get them to engage further.
Yes, I gaslight them.
Yeah.
Do you think OnlyFans will still be around in 10 years?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Have you ever bought something crazy with the OnlyFans money you've earned?
Yes.
Yeah, spending 30 grand a week on this villa.
Yeah. I bought a G-Wagon.
Have you ever been scammed by a subscriber?
Definitely yes. Yep.
Yes.
Is paid advertising worth it for growing an OnlyFans page?
Yes.
Do you believe in consistency is more important than quality?
I think it's both.
Yeah. You have to have equal measures.
Yep.
Have you ever felt burnt out from content creation?
Yes.
All the time, but I just power through it anyway.
It is difficult.
How do you find balance?
Still trying to find the answer to that one. I have no idea.
I think it's this. We work in places, right, where we don't feel like it's work anymore.
Yeah.
We come to places like when we're in South Africa, Cape Town right now, and it doesn't feel like I'm working there. I'm having a great time, but I'm still getting so much done.
Do you think agencies take advantage of creators?
Definitely some agencies.
Yeah,
do.
some agencies are extremely unscrupulous, and I've got a very ethical business, and I'm very proud of that.
Same.
I won't break my own rules for anyone.
Facts.
What's the craziest customer request you've ever got?
this is not going to make a cut on YouTube. One time we had a guy that was into financial domination, and pretty much it ended, long story short, it ended up with him writing slave on every single part of his body, shoving a card up his arse, and then deep throating the card, video recording it and sending it to us. Crazy.
Toilet brush inside girl, not the end you think.
That's crazy. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What a
Holy
Have you ever pretended to be someone online that you're not?
Nah, I don't think I have.
I think we sort of play a character.
Yeah,
Everybody
like
plays a character, but like
when I was in like my Dubai phase, actually, for sure.
yeah, you totally had a Dubai face.
I tried to be into like the luxury cars and all this shit and act like that guy, but I just don't really give a fuck.
I tried to do that for like 10 minutes and realized I despised everything
because I didn't know how to market, and I thought I needed flashy stuff.
Yeah.
Final question. What's the greatest part about doing this line of work?
The freedom that they create, like even just the fact that we're in Cape Town right now, like for the next month, just like working but also chilling. I think it also goes back to the balance question. I think like I play life in seasons. Like I'll have months where I just work hard, sacrifice, don't go out, don't see the light of day, and then times like this you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like we're going to be traveling for the next like 3 months and doing work and play, and I just think the freedom that it creates, not having to wake up to a boss. Like I remember the first day I woke up when I was an entrepreneur and I was like in bed, and I woke up and I was like, holy shit, like I can do wherever I want, like with my life. Like
and then
this
you went
is
back to sleep.
insane. Like and then I went back to sleep. But yeah,
I think
freedom.
for me, like I found a mechanism here to liberate everyone around me. So like my entire family are involved in my business somehow. They're all connected to the business. They all have the same life that I have, where they get to wake up and do the job that they're gonna do, and they work when they want to work. The work needs done, and sometimes they work when they don't want to work. But that's the same for me. I do stuff I don't want to do when I have to do it. But it's having that, like, I can work today, I can work tomorrow, and eventually I'm gonna be able to take that time. But it's like everybody is liberated around me. They do the stuff that they want to do, and they live a better life as a result of that. That for me is the best thing. Like I was the last person to actually stop working a corporate job. Everybody else was liberated before I was, and that for me is the best thing. Like everybody is in a much better place as a result of it.
Yeah.
In 3 words, what is the vision you have for yourself, or the manifestation for yourselves this year in 3 words each?
7 fig months.
Find my wife.
Oh.